Now for our first style, what I'm doing is I'm parting the hair down the center and I'm creating a side part as well. Next, I'm going to create a small box at the front of the hair, and I'm going to tie that off with elastic. One of the things you want to remember with short hairstyles is that you have to get elastics in the hair. There's no way that these big hairstyles where the hair goes to the back are going to work for short hair. So what I like to do is always get an elastic close to the front of the hair as possible. That way it's going to hold those fine baby hairs in place all day. Another thing you really want to remember is to use water or spray gel to hold your style in place. That way all those fine baby hairs are just going to work well when you're braiding. So right here I'm just attaching my braid to that second square down that I just made. And then I'm going to repeat those same steps on the other side of my hair. So I'm creating a small square at the front. Now whenever you're creating two hairstyles that look alike, just make sure that you're looking at the other side and trying to make where you're placing your ponytails as even as possible. It's going to look so much better when you're done with your hairstyle. The other thing to pay attention to is your parts. Do your parts 2 or 3 times to get them to look as straight as possible. Don't feel like you just have to swipe through it. It'll make your hairstyle in the end look so much better. So once I have my second square in place, I'm just going to go back and do a simple 3-strand braid, and I'm going to attach it to the back ponytail. Now you can see if your hair was short, this would hold in place. From here, I'm just going to take those 2 back pieces, combing them through so that they look nice and smooth. And then I'm just going to attach the 2 pieces in back with an elastic. Then I like to add a cute bow to the style. I'll leave a link below where you can get this bow and also any product that I'm using in this tutorial. So my second hairstyle, I'm going to create a rectangle section at the top of the child's head. And I'm going to tie it off again with an elastic. I go through so many of these elastics, and these are my favorite ones that I use. The purple and the pink I probably use the most. Next, I'm going to see how I wet the hair down, and next I'm going to take a small section on the side and I'm going to put it into another elastic. I find that it's easier to make your parts if you're using water to smooth down the hair. That fine baby hair is really hard to part when it's dry, so I find that just wetting it down will really help with your parts. So I'm just repeating those same ponytails on the left side of the head. Okay, once you have that in place, you're going to take those front ponytails and smooth them down. And then I'm going to use another elastic and attach them together. From there, I'm just going to divide them back out and attach them to the next ponytails down. And then I'll bring them back together and attach them over my ponytail. How cute is that style? I think it would look perfect on short hair. My third style is a diagonal pull through braid. So what I'm going to do here is just create a side part, and then I'm going to just make small ponytails, and I'm going to start making them on a diagonal. So I'm making the tiniest of ponytail at the front of the hair. And then from there, I'm just going to go down and making my parts again. I'm trying to make a diagonal line going across the child's head. Now, one thing I want to remind you about with all of these little ponytails, don't ever try to just pull them out at the end of the day. Make sure you take a scissors or some kind of seam ripper to cut them out at the end of the day. And the way I do that is I just pull the rubber band up away from the other ponytails and clip it off. Don't clip it right next to the hair, because otherwise it hurts the child's hair and it will damage it as well. So you can see I'm creating a line on the side of the hair to just make sure that it's nice and even and it has a good finished look. Now once you get all these in place, you can go back through and kind of move them to the side a little bit and adjust them. So if they're not perfect, you can always go back through and work on them. Okay, once I have all my ponytails in place, now it's time for my pull through braid. So I'm just gonna take that first ponytail, divide it into two, sling the second ponytail over, go down to the third ponytail, and tie those pieces in place. Then I'm just going to pancake the edges. So I'm gonna repeat those steps all the way down. Split the ponytail in two, flip the next one over, and attach it to the next ponytail down. And then you're going to go back through and tug at the edges. Again, split it in two, pull the ponytail through, and attach it to the next ponytail down. Pull through braids are really simple to do once you get the hang of them, and they just look great, and you always get so many compliments on them. And the best thing is pull through braids really hold in place all day. I mean, if I put this in place, it's gonna look the same when my daughter takes it out. So for toddler hair, it's really great because it's just gonna hold in place. And I definitely like to add a bow to finish off this look. To start off, I'm going to create a section of hair at the top of the child's hair. I'm going to spray it down with my favorite spray gel. And then I'll hold it in place with an elastic. I'll put a link below where you can find my favorite elastics. Next, I'm going to wet the hair down as well as brushing it out and adding more spray gel. Then I'll divide the hair in two. And then I'll put in an elastic about 4 inches down from the top elastic. Next, I'm going to put some spray gel on the side pieces, and I'll create a small section that I'm going to pull back Now I'll just split the ponytail on the left in half and then pull that piece through the middle. And then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. Then I will take another elastic and just combine the pieces. And then I'm just going to repeat those steps again. So taking my 2 outer ponytails, I'm going to go about 3 or 4 inches down and put in another elastic. And then underneath, I'll create another small section, put in spray gel, and then I will pull it through the side ponytail. You want to make sure you use some kind of spray gel or hairspray, because if you're working with toddler hair, you'll get a lot of flyaways. And then I'll combine those with an elastic. Now you could keep going down a few more if you want, but I'm just doing this half up. Part the hair on the side, and then now I like to use spray gel when I do these front hairstyles because I feel like any flyaways that are around the face will hold in place better when I use the spray gel. And if you don't want to use spray gel, you can always use water. Next, I'm going to use an elastic to tie that hair off. Then I'm going to comb the hair out really well, and then I'm going to start creating my braid with the left side of the hair, and I'm going to incorporate in the ponytail that I just put up. So I'm going to spray down the hair, adding some spray gel, and then I'm going to pick up a section of hair, and then with the hair in the back, I just like to clip it out of the way. That way when I'm doing my braid, I don't accidentally pull hair into it that I don't want to. So I'm going to start a 3-strand braid. And then when I go to the right side, I'm going to pick up a piece of hair from that ponytail and add it to my braid. And then I'll do it again. Every time I go to the right side with my braid, I'm going to add a piece of hair. Now the thing you need to remember when you're doing this type of hairstyle is you want to hold your braid really tight in place. That way you kind of get your braid going the way you want it. If you want it to go straight across, you need to make sure you're pulling those pieces in together. I usually like to do mine at a diagonal because I think it looks nicer, but pulling it tight will kind of show you where those pieces fall. So I'm just going to continue adding sections of hair to my braid. I want the sections to be even as possible, and I'll just do this until I don't have any more hair to add. Once you've added in all your hair, just continue braiding down. I also like to use a little bit of hairspray here just to kind of hold this hair in place. Our second hairstyle, we're going to start by parting the hair in the center this time. So I'm going to create 2 front pigtails with the hair. And then again, I'm using those same colorful elastics. I'll link below where you can get any products that I'm using in this video. I'm going to create a 3-strand braid with half of the hair. And then I'm going to use my clip to hold it in place while I do the other side. One of the great things about these half-up hairstyles is you can change it, make it your own. I just kind of create these hairstyles as I'm going, and every time I do them, they're different. I do different braids and I do different techniques just to make them fun. So use your creativity and have fun with it. So my next braids I'm doing are just simple rope twists because we're trying to make this a quick 5-minute hairstyle, and rope twists are super easy to do. So with the rest of the hair, I'm rope twisting it, then I'm gonna pull them down just a little bit below my braid and tie them off with an elastic. Then from here, I'm just gonna make a little bubble with another elastic, and I like doing that so that you can see my bow down below. For our last hairstyle, we're going to put some elastics in the center of the child's head. So I'm just creating a small rectangle section, and then I'm going to start putting in my elastics. You want to make sure you have a good comb for this, and I also find that it's easier to do this if you wet down the hair. The hair will part a lot easier and it won't be as difficult to manage. So make sure that you have a spray bottle and you're wetting the hair down before you do this style. So I'm just trying to put my elastics in as straight as possible. And once I get all the elastics in place, I'm going to do a fishtail braid. Now, a fishtail braid is super simple. You just divide the hair into 2 pieces, and then you're going to take small sections from the outside of the hair and cross them over to the other section. And you're just going to alternate doing this until you get to the very bottom of the hair. One thing I like to do while I'm braiding is I like to go back through and pancake the hair just a little bit by pulling at the edges. This is going to make your braid look a little bit fuller and fluffier. And if you're working on a toddler or fine hair like I am, it really helps to make the braid appear bigger. Now once you get to the bottom, just tie it off with an elastic, and I think adding a cute bow also helps. I hope you enjoyed our 5-minute half-up hairstyles. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel below.